welcome to Family DynamiKs with a K with the Killmonds. I'm Liz. So we've got some special guests. One you already know because she's been on a few episodes, my sister Rosemary.
Hello, everybody.
Now, this is a mother and son episode, right, Rosemary?
That's right. We both have sons.
So you have your son Luke with you here today. Say hi, Luke.
Hi, hello.
And I have Ethan Roman here with me today.
Hello.
Now, the level of enthusiasm from these two was just stunning.
Excitement.
Well, they're teenagers, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Ethan, how old are you?
13.
And that you're in 8th grade, correct?
Yes.
And Luke?
I'm 16 and I'm a junior in high school.
Wow. So you guys are only 3 years apart?
Yep.
I mean, the harassment level felt growing up more dramatic of an age difference.
I am turning 17 next week, so.
Oh, that's
Yeah, about
right.
4 years almost.
But then he's turning 14 in April, so it is 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yes, happy birthday almost to the both of you.
Yeah.
Luke is closer.
Now, I actually have to give a little history because the Family DynamiKs podcast, actually the origin story or the idea of it really came from an experience I had with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So we sometimes spend the holidays at your house, Rosemary, and spend the night. Mm-hmm. And even though I think that house, maybe we're 20, 25 minutes apart in traffic in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, not far. And it was New Year's Eve. So it was going very late the evening. And
Yep.
I went upstairs to try to get Ethan to go to bed at a certain point.
Because this was before
happy.
he was a teenager, so.
Yes, but he is a night owl, so even still, and we all stayed up. We didn't do the trick of, it's 9
o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock New York ball drop.
They all clued in on that.
Every
like a while ago.
West Coaster has done that to their younger children, where it's like, we're going to stay up till the ball drops, and then the ball drops in New York, actually in California at 9 p.m. with a 3-hour time difference. Yeah, It's like, yeah.
And it fools everyone.
Yes, you had caught on by that point. So probably it was about at 1 a.m. or pretty late at night. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, we definitely went late as the kids got older.
Yeah, so I was like, come on. And I go up to Luke's room, which was this little cool room, almost like I felt like your room almost was like a tree house in that house.
A little bit, because it was right by the tree, just a massive tree. Everyone can see it driving up the street.
And
Yeah.
did your mom, did you never get any window
I know.
treatments?
I knew you were going to bring that up. So the thing is we ordered these window treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
he had
no
like
blinds ever.
I think he had like 8 or 9 windows in his room. Like it was a lot of windows.
Yeah, so
I thought
And-
it was only 3.
And no, and it was a lot of windows, and it was like, all facing this big tree, and the sun came up directly in his room. And I was like, at first I was like, this is awful. Oh my God, they're never going to be able to like sleep in on the weekend, or it's going to wake them up at the crack of dawn, thinking that I had like a 5-year-old. And it was like, I bought all these window treatments and then I just never put them up because they couldn't seem to get up. The sun would be in his face in the morning and he still would not wake up. It was still like endless wake up time. So I just never put them
needed
in.
those blinds. I could get an extra hour with them.
So
So you could go to 3 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 2?
Yeah, it's goals. It's goals.
so, but you did have a trundle bed.
Yeah.
So
I
Ethan was
did.
going to spend the night in your room that night. So I went in trying to motivate and push along the evening.
Never happened.
Right. And you had a whole computer set up with a really cool microphone.
Yeah.
And so the Liz and Luke show started that night where we were just talking back and forth with each other with a microphone.
It was funny.
And I said, we should start our own podcast. And I mean, that was honest to God, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. And I got sidetracked by other projects, other podcasts, like our Ask Jillian podcast that we did for 2 years. And so here we are finally, Luke. This is all due to you, Family DynamiKs.
It all started.
Wow.
And I don't, that's your input, Ethan.
That sounded like a cat.
Now-
You sold that microphone. Didn't you sell that to a friend or something?
Yeah, I sold it to my friend. I don't really play video games like that much anymore, so I sold it to him for like $90 or something.
What?
It was kind of broken too, so I didn't tell him.
Yes,
that.
you're very entrepreneurial where you like to resell items, right?
Yeah,
thinking about-
exactly. I've sold a lot of stuff online.
He's thinking about ditching his gaming computer now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever use it, so I can make like $800-900 off of it.
Now, I'm just gonna ask this: who originally bought those items for you?
Well, I actually paid a lot of it with gift cards. So.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I was going to say
exactly.
that's an interesting thing as a parent. Like,
And I bought the monitor, I bought the keyboard, I bought everything.
okay, so then it would be your money if you resold it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was my money.
Not your parents.
But he has sold stuff like clothes I bought him and stuff. And he sold them. I mean, it's
No shame,
fine.
I have no-
I mean, what was I going to do? But,
take a percentage.
She didn't know how to sell it. No.
Oh,
I
Are you
didn't.
secretly fuming under your skin while he sold that?
No, I think it was more of a drag because he'd be like, I sold it. And then it'd be like, okay, well, now we have to mail it. So then it'd be like, Luke, you got to put it in the envelope. Luke. And then it'd be like me kind of pushing it along.
Yeah.
And then we would be like, I don't know. I'm like, do you get reviews on this? Because it'd be like 2 weeks later we'd mail it,
I mean, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't wait that long. I would wait like 2 days.
It felt
service.
like a while. We really thought we were going to get into it. And then I think we sold something and the guy said that it was a fake.
Oh, no, it was totally fake.
But so what?
What are you talking about? I totally sold it online. It was like $150.
But you sold it for a price that was appropriate for being not authentic.
He never said it was authentic on
No,
his.
I never said it was authentic, but I never said it was fake.
But he just said it was fake, and then
yeah.
he kept the item and got the money returned.
Well, he contacted the app, so obviously they don't care. If it's fake, he can keep it. I don't want it. It's fine.
No, okay. Well,
I'm
I was
gonna
irritated because that was something I had paid.
Anyone
like
who
$100
buys
for.
a V-Loan hoodie is gonna know, like, if it's real or not. So even if I sold it to someone else, they'd just nerd out on it and be like, "Oh, this isn't real."
So
Give
this
me
is
my
when
money.
you start getting into like, I think it was freshman year, maybe. You
Yeah.
start getting into like all these weird labels that like, you know,
right.
like V-Loan and I don't know, Off-White and.
They're not weird. I mean,
Off-White's
they're
not
huge.
even.
They're
I've heard of
massive.
Off-White.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Massive.
Yeah.
Well, name some weird ones that like.
R.I.P. Virgil Abloh.
Yeah.
Glow Gang and that maybe that's not that weird.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I mean, these are all pretty mainstream for people my age.
yeah for your age exactly. You have to catch up with that, Ethan.
He
Eventually,
will
next
once
year.
he's in school next year.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
actually
we'll
going to
see.
be potentially in the same high school next year.
Yeah,
Luke's
we'll see.
so excited to drive me there and totally not drop me off like 18 blocks away from the school.
Then you'd be at home if you were 18 blocks away from
It's
Do you
not
think
that
he
far.
cares?
Well, you two definitely, because the age gap is about as if Ethan was your third child.
Right.
You've been lucky because my siblings and I, obviously, we came from 8 kids, but we did not have cousins living right around us like you all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all pretty close.
Still,
together.
that's 8 kids.
No, I know. So, yes, we still had a lot of interaction, but cousins are something different because you can have a great or bad time with each other and then they leave. You know,
Yeah.
siblings are there all the time. So,
Exactly.
there were times as cousins you definitely did not get along that great to break you guys up. They had a period where they definitely disliked you. What was that thing called? A bean dip
Yeah,
you?
the bean dip.
God.
Oh God.
So
Yeah.
annoying.
Crying from me there.
I'm like but you know what? Both Mark and I, there is an element because you're an only child that we're like, he does need some toughening up. So
He
there was a
definitely got it.
fine
You needed
line.
that, yeah.
We didn't want of mice and men Lenny. Like he's so sweet. To crack his neck. I mean, we didn't want anything like that level. But there was definitely there was definitely roughhousing that was definitely toughened you up. Don't you think?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure, 100%. If I didn't beat him up like every once in a while, he would not be the same.
Once in a while, on our last vacation, out of nowhere, you jump in my room and just said, like, you would never beat me while you're sitting on top of me.
You know, gotta show
And then
some
you just
dominance.
walk out.
Show
was
some
just like-
dominance.
Gotta let him know.
Oh, did you say the F word?
With me.
Oh gosh, see, we have to talk about this. So,
Wait,
Yeah,
we can't-
I can say it. You can.
oh wait. See,
That's how
that-
it works.
that's not
I just made
democracy.
the rules.
that's okay. This is one of those odd things that your sweet baby. Oh,
Sweet baby mouth
Hey,
can say
in the legal
no
court
words.
system, they as a 17-year-old, they try you as an adult. So
so
that's
there.
enough. Yeah, that's enough evidence.
I wouldn't want to be going to the adult card just yet.
Yeah, stay in the teen scene as long as you can. Well, our husbands, Kirk and mine, Mark, do not really cuss, and I don't know. Our parents
I
didn't
know, we're
either.
such truckers. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Around
where did
you,
we
at
get
least.
our like?
Yeah, it's from.
I don't know. And Mom definitely washed our mouth out with soap when we cussed.
Oh, we could not cuss in our household.
It just was like, because you couldn't cuss, then I really wanted to cuss. Maybe that was it. Like,
Like you
it was like,
overcompensate later.
I mean, people have given me, like, all my girlfriends are like, say that I love to say, what the what in the I have
one of
like
my
many
favorite
variations
phrases,
of
too.
like it, that, what the
See,
what in
right.
the
Die.
I mean, but it was like, it just is like, it's like an expressive, agitated word to me.
It's such a beautiful word.
Ethan! My God. So
The way he just said is slightly.
Okay, so
Yeah, when he says it comes off differently. It's
right.
like
Yeah.
it
You're
hurts
still
my
too baby
ears.
mouth.
I
No,
know.
don't-
It's like offensive. Or,
No, I don't like it still. So we've definitely
It
tried
doesn't
to curb
roll
it.
off the tongue naturally, and that's
Yes,
for sure.
his voice is not dropped like yours yet. So
Are
therefore,
you sure about that? Okay, yeah, it hasn't.
okay. So then it's definitely one of those things that cussing. I don't know why, but you completely blamed me when you started to drop it
you started saying
occasionally.
the F word
sure.
in front of me when I was 5.
Yeah.
Kirk was always like, God, you do so much cussing around the kids. And I'm like, I didn't really. I was very good at editing myself, I think.
My mom should have taken notes off of you.
I mean, I feel like
You know
I
what it
was
is? Because it is impactful that when you do it, it sticks with them. So even if we didn't do it that occasionally, it just was very impactful.
It was probably during a moment of mommy rage of like they just like made a huge mess or something.
Yeah, because you have 2 boys, so it's
Right. So like, okay, so I have the oldest son, Jack, and then Luke, the middle. if Ethan was my third child, and then my youngest son is Luke, and then Ethan, and they're all 3 years apart about.
Yeah.
So he was like the youngest brother. I mean, going back to the whole bean dipping thing, it was not just the bean dipping thing. There were years.
Luke, explain what bean dipping is.
It's just like scooping the under of their chin. It's
With your
just like,
fingers,
yeah,
right?
it's just like extremely annoying. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot of kids would know what it is. I mean, it's well known.
Well, I didn't know what it is when Ethan came and crying. He's like, they keep bean dipping me. And I'm like, bean dipping you?
I'm not even sure he knew what it was till they were doing it to him. But before that, they used to just strangle him.
Oh yeah, that was a
I mean, it was just like a constant, like, take him and put him in a headlock. And then Ethan would act like he literally was going to die. And then
Oh
we'd
my
have to go
God,
into a
so
whole
overdramatic.
trauma of where then Luke was in trouble or Jack was in trouble. And
they're
it was
both
like,
in trouble.
And Ethan's crying. And we're like, God, every time we're together. And then it'd just be like a whole thing.
Yeah, because he would sleep over at your house. And luckily he was a good snuggler. So if he needed to be...
I know his first
Really?
sleepover. His first sleepover was at our house, and he was 2. Ethan was 2, and he was so little. He might not have even been 2.
He
And
could
I'm like,
talk,
You're
so-
terrible parents, but so
Bye.
he could talk, and he was little. He wasn't. I think he was in a pull-up. Like at night,
Oh.
but he wasn't in like diapers. So, anyways, Luke let him sleep in his bed, and Luke slept on the floor. Because I thought, oh, he'll be too scared to sleep on the floor in the blow-up bed. And all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know, 2 hours have gone by. The kids are asleep, and he's like, and Rosemary. It's like this sing-songy crying voice coming out of nowhere, and it's like 12:30 at night. Everybody's asleep. He was devastated. He was so scared. I had to go in and sleep with him. And pet him, make him feel better. He was totally missing his parents. They were out drinking and carousing somewhere.
Partying.
I think I remember one time that we were sleeping over. Luke just randomly out of the blue started saying scary stories.
Oh, that sounds about right.
And I would,
Rosemary, help me. Yeah, that sounds pretty right on. I think the worst time you ever slept over was your parents were in Paris.
Jeez, the
And
life we have.
I
Sounds
know.
great.
You had a great life. And we were in our house in Oxnard, and he was, I don't know how he got up there. Somehow he got up there, and he had a loose tooth.
He got up where?
To our house in Oxnard.
Oh, up to Oxnard. Okay.
And he had a loose tooth. Somebody brought him up. I think maybe Dee Dee brought him up.
And Dee Dee. Okay.
And he had a loose tooth, and he would not eat.
Oh my
my
God.
God.
I mean, the
remember
boys were
that.
like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And then they were like so pissed at him. He was like on his last nerve. It was a disaster. He would not eat. He had a loose tooth, and Kirk's like, just go yank it out. I'm like, he's not my kid. I'm not going to yank it out like I did with my kids, you know? It's like, just yank the tooth out and it's over. He was like,
because wasn't it hanging on by like a thread?
It was like literally like,
thread.
it was like you could see the last skin attachment.
It was dangling.
It was dangling. And the boys were like, oh my God, just eat the frickin' Cheerios. You know?
I remember coming home from that trip and he was back at our house. You were Ethan, and you were on the couch waiting for us to come in, and you were like wasting away on the couch because you had not eaten. You've been such a pain in the ass, and you're like, I still feel well, Mom. Like, and I looked down,
Did you rip that thing off?
I just went in, plucked the tooth out real quick, and he goes, he goes, call 911, call 911.
No, the call 911 was from the first time I ever bleeded from a paper cut.
No.
Yes. Don't sell that
This is,
story.
you know,
It's
listen,
pretty
I
wimpy.
can have
Yes.
revisionist history syndrome
I
too.
was 3.
No, I can have revisionist
Still.
history too syndrome. You know, that's a Killmond trait. But the reality is, Dad would back me up on this, and Mark was so horrified too. He's like, "What did you just do? Oh my gosh!"
I did it to both Luke and Jack. I mean, I did it to both of them.
Black.
Luke and Jack. It's
That's
a
been
combination.
an ongoing thing.
Oh
Like,
my gosh! Wait,
the-
Luke and Jack. The combo name is Lack.
No, the amount of times she said like Jack, like she's called me Jack more than Luke. Like, and then she's called Jack Luke. It's
And
just
then
so,
it gets the Kirk, Jack, Luke. You just go through all the names.
Oh, I call
Just mixing
Mark,
it up.
Ethan.
yeah, it's a cycle.
Eddie and John
Trying to
are
point
brothers.
fingers.
I can poor John. I've called him basically every single name. Mark, Ethan, John. Like yes.
I think that's pretty common. Mom did that a lot too.
Well, it's hard to keep them all straight. No, so yes,
So
Ethan,
many
you were
people.
traumatized, but at the same time, that's parenting 101.
At the same
Unlike our
time, I was,
grandfather.
like, 3.
Well, Ethan
You
also
did
had
not-
his
no.
pacifier until he was like 5.
That's a puff of his binky.
Oh my god.
No, wait a minute.
Made me
They
wanna-
hated that. The boys were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, the pacifier. How disgusting.
That is why he needed to be beat up. Look at him. He had a pacifier until he was like 5.
No, for sure. All right, but you, first of all, you don't lose teeth at 3, I don't think, right? You're getting them in.
No, you lose them like 5 or
That's
6.
exactly right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why you were not losing a tooth
I mean,
at
like,
3.
but it's different for every kid. I think Jack was like 8. Like kids had full on braces, and he still had all his baby teeth. I mean, it was like the kid holds on to stuff. It was like, oh my God, he took forever to lose his teeth. Luke was right on time. He was like first grade or something.
Yeah, because when you start to go into 2nd grade, her mom thought you had a speech impediment, Ethan, because,
Because I called my own name Ethan.
well, yes, and like Heather would be Header.
Yeah,
Bull-
you had a.
Or bull-ups for the Nerf guns would be
Yeah.
bullets.
What is that
Bull-ups.
called? Like it's not a speech impediment, but it's not
A lisp.
Yeah, kind of.
I had
Well-
to go to a special class that made me actually say my name right, that they taught me vowels.
I don't remember that at all. What?
was that at St.
No.
Mel's?
Yes, it wasn't.
I remember I got pulled in that weird reading class once too. Yeah.
Well, and then we went to go, and we,
Couldn't be
our mother can scare the shit out of us about our kids. She's done it with.
Oh, she's left. Oh, he's left-handed. Devil child.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Burn
but-
him now.
No, but she can definitely instill fear in you. Like, oh, what's wrong with my kid? So we got you in that I guess you're saying there was a special class at your school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to hear you were doing some sort of oral presentation. And by the 4th kid, all mumbled mouth with their loose teeth and their big new teeth coming in, I was like, Mom, it's totally normal that none of them can enunciate at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, hello, my name is Alphan. I mean, it's like every other kid. Hi, I'm Brian. I mean, it's like no one could get.
But there's like a difference between like, your teeth are coming in and having an affected
Yes,
voice.
this was like every single kid. They'd be missing like
baby talk.
yeah, they had one big tooth, other one's missing, one dangling. Like it was that was an eye opener. Like, Mom, this is normal. Do you know your grandfather, which is our mom's father? Rosie and I used to go visit him and Nana, and this was down south, Oceanside, and they lived in a big trailer park for like retirees. So it was very nice, but it was still a trailer park.
Okay,
about
that
that.
was a crinkle fest.
Well, here's the other, what you all don't know is, I mean, listen. Ethan just drank some water, which is an ongoing overhydration that this child has had
This
from birth.
kid must be
But
like
then
hydrated.
I can't talk. Look, I've got 2 beverages, and it's always called my beverage center. I've always got multiple beverages going.
You once had 8 beverages just sitting around.
No,
I mean, it was like there was
4.
a time you ended, carrying around a sippy cup for them and snacks. It's like, has that ended yet? He's 13.
No, because he has this water bottle with him at all times.
It's basically
a sports
like
bottle.
because he's an only child, you haven't graduated past some of the nurturing of the toddler phase.
No, that is true.
I mean, this
can
boy, he
sadly
will
agree to
figure it
that.
out for himself on a lot of things.
Yeah,
My
we're
son.
doing that more often. Fend for himself. So Rosie and I went to go visit your great grandfather, and Rosemary had a loose tooth. This is all time back to the loose tooth, and it was driving our grandfather crazy.
It was barely loose.
Yeah, it was like a wiggler. It wasn't a dangler.
It was like I probably have a loose tooth right now.
Barely nudging.
It was barely moving.
But
It
it
was a
bo-
wiggler.
yeah.
It was a wiggler.
But it bothered him. Grandpa really bothered him. And this was one of those trips where we stayed way past our welcome. We should not have been there that long. But we had gone and were then going to be picked up at some point to then go across the country in a family road trip. So we were staying for like 5 days or something. It was just long to be with them
Too long.
because it's a retirement community. So there's a pool and there's
Oh, what? You're in the retirement community?
Yeah.
Not
So
much
there's
I thought
there.
you were at his house.
they
Lived in it like kind of how Grandma Paula's community was all like people over 60 or something.
Yeah, so there weren't really young kids in the neighborhood. I mean, if they were other grandchildren.
People don't want kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it was one of those odd things that Grandpa liked to get us up early, which is
Oh,
completely not a genetic Killmond trait, and then put us to bed early. Like I remember, he tried to put us to bed at 7:30.
It's like the sun was going
still
down.
light out.
So it's still light out. It's like, time for bed, everyone.
Listen, a lot of people do that. They just will not break the schedule regardless.
It's fine if you're it's a baby, but it's
Hell
like
no.
we were 8.
I
and,
think.
Well, he was probably going to bed. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he was probably.
he was
Yeah.
going because he woke up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, you were maybe 7.5, and I was 9 because we're pretty close in age.
Yeah.
So this wiggling tooth was just bugging the crap out of Grandpa. So he kept going oh, let me take it out, let me take it out. And Nana kept going, oh, Joe, just leave her alone. Oh, Joe, just leave her alone. By the 3rd or 4th day, I think Nana was like, I don't even want to hear about it anymore. She's like, I'm going to go take a nap, and you just do whatever you need to do. And he decided this was the afternoon he was going to cut our hair and deal with that tooth.
What?
So we were in our underwear and undershirts, and he didn't want to cut our hair inside the house because you're going to get hair inside the house.
Oh God.
So in the carport with people driving by, I think kids rode by on their bicycles.
Yeah, a couple other
my
kids who were
That's
staying with their
horrifying.
grandparents came and watched. It was
That's
like
horrifying.
He
It was
got
the,
hair.
community process.
Yeah,
The
it was
community
embarrassing.
watching.
Yeah, so we were in the carport. I'm sure other cousins can relate to this. We had to get our hair cut. So Rosie went first, and he basically got out a bowl and followed the line of a bowl.
It wasn't cute.
No, you had horrible bowl cut. And then he's brushing his.
Why did he give you guys haircuts?
He was
what
just
made-
a busy dude. He was just
There's
gonna-
something that's got to get done. It's got to get done. These kids' hair.
I mean, look at their hair. They look like rugrats. What's going on?
so he cut
the
our
little
hair.
girls. Then he's like, oh, let's shave their head.
Close.
Close.
It was like a Dutch boy bob. It was
It
kind of
It was,
horrendous.
not cute.
No, it was not good.
So it was just bangs, a circle.
Yeah, it was like a circle of
The
your
mi-
head.
the
I mean, he
medieval
literally
cut.
put a mixing bowl
They had
on
a
her head
dome.
and
Yeah.
went the line of the mixing bowl.
So the medieval cut.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he even had hair cutting scissors. He either was using his little typical, household kitchen scissors that were very not made for a precise haircut either. So,
Yeah.
Vaz. So all the neighbor kids are just watching in fascination. As we're on black asphalt in the carport, what was the big car they had? Was it a big?
It was a Lincoln, I think.
It was huge.
A Continental.
Lincoln Continental. So we're by the car in our underwear and our little undershirts.
No.
And then it became, all right, Rosie, it's time to get that tooth out.
No, he didn't really say it like that. He said,
What?
Let me just try this string around it and see if your tooth wiggles, with the string. And it was like the longest string ever. And I'm
You're
like,
like,
this is
This is a
okay.
little suspicious.
He ties it on the tailgate of the car. He's like, all right, let's go.
almost that bad. Almost that bad. So, you're
Close.
wanting to try. I mean, our parents were pretty much straightforward. They didn't pull any shenanigans, but Grandpa was not like that.
Yes.
So he's like, let me
Well,
just
because
see.
his
Let me just
background was a
look at
salesman,
this. Yeah.
so he could sell you on something in sort of a
Well, you trust him.
deceptive way.
Well,
to
if
some
you lose
degree.
the tooth now, you'll get a new one later.
yeah.
You would trust
This
him.
is a
He's
one-time
just
offer.
testing it to see how wiggly it is. So then he walks across. I remember him walking to the back door,
And I'm like,
into the
oh God,
kitchen.
Rose, he's gonna
Liz
do it
is
to
just
you.
watching this
He's
like.
gonna do it to you, Rose.
Well, at least he's not doing it to me, is what she's
Oh
thinking.
God, hallelujah.
Offer him your
I know it was offer. She was constantly like, "You do it. You go first."
I'm
See
like,
how it
I
is."
don't know what he's gonna do. You have a full bow on the front of your tooth.
And then he walks up to the kitchen
No,
door,
double knot
and he
around it.
slams. He ties it to the knob,
Oh my
and then
God.
slams the door, and that thing just yanked right out.
Oh, I always thought that was like
And
a
did
myth.
you-
I didn't think anyone ever did actually
Oh,
did
tying
that.
it to a door is pretty common, I guess.
Absolutely, that is not family lore. Grandpa Joe absolutely did that, and I remember standing next to her, and it was like watching it in slow motion, like it was like a jackass movie. It was like ding in the street. And then I was like, hold on to it, Rosie, because as we're about to go on our cross-country road trip, you can shove it in your sleeping bag and maybe the tooth fairy will
But
find
he
you.
wasn't going to give us anything.
Oh, because
for it.
that tooth fairy was not going to visit at Grandpa Joe's house.
But he was going to pull that freaking tooth out.
Oh, hell or high water. And then, of course, then Nana suspiciously then woke up and appeared. Our haircuts were done.
Oh,
the tooth
God.
was out. We're sitting there like on the couches inside, like looking traumatized.
They're like, "Look, Lawrence Walka's on. Now like
with the Lemon Sisters.
let's have some nuts and
let's
a
do one
7 and 7 at the bar."
That's what you want to watch the Lemon Sisters, which is have you ever seen that Kristen Wiig sketch with the little hands? Like,
Oh, it's them.
I'm the other sister
With the
I
small
like with the
hands.
small hands. That is based off the Lemon Sisters.
Oh my God.
But then he'd make
From
us like
SNL,
rub
yeah.
his
Yeah.
feet and all this. I mean, it was torture. I mean, that we have so many stories from that trip that we can't even get into. But
We will another time.
so yes, Ethan, I maybe inherited from your Grandpa Joe plucking the tooth out had to be done. Had to
Yep.
be done. And Rosie, then I remember then of course when our parents did pick us up. They were like, "What happened to your hair? Where's your tooth?" Like, and we're like, "Talk." Rosie's like, "Talk to your father."
I don't know. I'm just traumatized.
We're so happy to get in the car. We also had like 3rd-degree sunburns because we were so pale. He made us stay out in the sun.
I mean, but these kids, like, my kids only really have. Well, they had their grandma Paula, who was my husband's mom.
Paula, she was the best.
Yeah.
She was great. She was totally.
Tell me everything. What's going on with you?
She was so allowing of the boys and thought everything they did was adorable and cute. And, but we didn't really stay with her that much. She came and stayed with us occasionally, and she died probably like 8 years ago. Like,
Has it
well,
been 8 years?
No.
Yeah. you were
Longer
like-
than that.
Kirk said 8 years last night. I'm like, I don't think you're right. I think it's like 10. But
Yeah. I mean, I was super young.
yeah, I think you were like 9 or
Wow.
something or
Okay.
8. But they
I
had.
feel like I was younger than that. I feel like I was like 6.
Oh, maybe I don't know. You weren't that young.
No, I will have to find out from
Maybe
Kirk.
like 8.
But Grandma Paula, that's what you called her,
so
Grandma
then,
Paula.
But then the
Well,
grandma they share together.
When did we get Astro? 2012.
Yeah.
So it was probably 2013. So
Yeah, because our dog
9,
like
10 years
instantly
ago.
jumped up on Grandma Paula, and she was on blood thinners, and it was like a
Yeah,
blood show.
yeah, it was terrible.
He teared her,
Oh, no.
teared her
Whatever.
skin. It
but
was,
I think,
it was.
but I think
horrible.
she only saw him one time. Because,
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was about 2012, 2013.
yeah, because when
Yeah.
both of you were born, both of the grandfathers had already passed away.
Oh, for us, yes, but
Oh, sorry.
Grandpa Hal.
Hal.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So our father had passed away.
Yeah.
And Kirk on both sides, right?
Yeah,
There was
so
no
they
grandfather.
had no grandfather, but they had your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Grandpa Hal.
Grandpa Hal. Yeah.
Well, what did
Always
you
wanted
call
to watch a fishing show. Yep, Grandpa Hal.
Oh, okay.
Grandpa Hal, whereas Grand Jan, actually, it was Rosemary who named Grand Jan because Grand Mary. So then you had,
So then the grandmother they share together is Grandmary.
right.
And their experience was spending the night at Grandmary's happened.
Wait, you actually did?
Nightmarish.
Wait, did you ever spend the night at Grandmary's? No, you've never spent.
I never spent.
It's terrible to say, but when I was a kid, it was like the Conjuring house. I was like, all right.
It was way too many areas that they were unsure of.
I was like, all right, I get it. We're super Catholic, very Catholic family. Where is the bad? All right, I need. Is the little closet? I open it, and there's a little like creature in there.
Wait, was Susie
they were
the doll?
so scared. I don't know. I was like, what were you so scared about? And they were like, we never want to spend the night again. I don't know. They were just like,
It was
I don't
the
know.
little closet because Jack would always like
yeah,
shove me in
that.
there and like turn off the light.
There's a little
And I'd be
closet
like,
underneath the stairs.
Which
that-
and there was
sounds
like a
creepier than
doll.
it is.
There was like a doll in
Susie.
there.
Oh,
my
I just
God.
said, did you see
Horrifying.
Susie?
Horrifying. That was that. Why?
Okay,
That's why.
wait,
because it
Luke.
was like the Annabelle doll. I was like,
It is like Annabelle. And do
that
you-
is gonna
horrifying.
literally look over me while I sleep.
Okay, do you realize it was a few years ago watching the Antique Roadshow? I'm like, holy shit. That Susie doll may be worth a fortune.
It's in terrible shape.
I listen, I'm wrong.
Wait, how much is
Eddie's
it worth?
face just off screen was like, no. But I was like, because she has been around. She was our mother's doll, and she always creeped us out. And she was
Why
about.
is she always
It's horrifying.
Okay, wait.
Never has any clothes
No,
on.
wait. Let me give you.
I remember torturing Ethan with it.
Let me give you a
Locking
description
him
of
in.
her.
God.
She's about the size of a 2-year-old toddler. So
Yes.
in itself, creepy as hell.
But a baby head.
A baby head, and the body is sort of like a plastic.
It's like a
Fabric.
So it's one of those massive Barbie dolls that.
Where it's heavy, but
No, because it can
where it's
kinda-
heavy, but it's not stiff because
Right.
it can't really form any position.
Right.
But it's heavy.
But we could dress her. So we would
It's like
dress
5
her
pounds.
in various clothes over the
toddler
years.
clothes that we had lying around.
Yes, and she's got a hard, like, plastic head and eyes that move. That's the problem. The eyes move and
they
roll.
do? I don't
Yes.
remember.
Horrifying.
That would give me nightmares.
And you could position her just in ways that, yes, it completely, like, based off of, like, Chucky and Annabelle.
Yeah,
like,
that,
it's
exactly.
completely-
Because I was like,
Annabelle the reboot. Susie.
when I would go to the house, I'd be like, everything's great. You know, oh my God, it's my grandma's house. And then I'd just see that doll, and it would be like all the
And she
air out of
moved
the room and
positions.
stuff.
Who is moving her around?
I don't know.
Why is she in
Someone-
the
Spirit
den
of
one
Susie.
day? She's upstairs in the
I
bedroom
think
the
she's
next.
been in the play closet for a long time.
Oh, she's bitter as
She's
Yeah.
been
Don't let her
unloved.
out.
you know who we should get her? Who probably would take her on lovers? Lauren. Our niece.
Oh,
God,
Oh,
Lauren.
my-
She's too
no,
old now.
No, Lauren would like pair up with it. And be like,
She becomes like a ventriloquist. Now she's talking through Susie.
But
You're
this
like,
doll, so this doll's existed since, I mean, it's my mother's doll.
Mommy, I don't feel so well.
But no
Give
one
me the
sat-
doll.
No one ever took on Susie. No one ever was
No
like.
one wants that.
no
Look
one
at
was
it.
ever like. I
My
think
daughter really.
That's like the lost toys from that one
Yes.
reindeer special on the island.
No, it's the Lost Toys from Toy
the
Story.
Misfits. The
No,
Misfits.
yeah, the Misfits from the reindeer
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
Oh, from
exactly.
The
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Rudolph.
Reindeer.
Yes, exactly.
You mean
Big,
the Island of Misfit Toys?
Yeah,
That's
it's
where
the one
she should
toy
go.
that Santa said, we ain't taking that.
no.
We used to paint her fingernails and put like
Oh, that's right.
put fingernail polish on her lips.
Oh, that's
so
horrible.
she- like lipstick.
No wonder she's so
because
bitter.
most of her original painting had like faded. So
it's
we
a
were-
good thing she didn't have hair. She would have gotten many.
She did have some bizarre tufts when she in their early days.
I don't know about that.
I
no,
see.
I
Wait,
don't
so,
know.
I gotta look, I
wait, so the
gotta
doll doesn't have hair?
No, it's
no,
like
it's
a
just
hard
like
plastic
a hard,
head.
like
Oh.
you know.
Yeah.
And her
baby
hair
head.
was sort of painted on, but that's all worn off.
Yeah,
I
it's,
feel
it's
like
even
for-
worse. It's even
So
worse.
now
when
it just
there's no
looks
hair.
Everyone's gonna really wonder how horrific this doll
We'll take a
is.
picture
She's
of her
not
and
that
share it. We
horrific.
have to take a picture and share it.
You have to,
I think it's
and
pretty
she's
bad.
wearing like these. Is she still wearing the little trousers that Eddie wore? Like they're like a little rainbow set of trousers.
Eddie just pointed at
wore
John.
them.
I don't know.
They cycled through a lot of.
Well,
us
here's the
things.
thing. Our mother is not a hoarder yet.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What are you
seen
talking
the
about?
attic?
Have we gone through years
Yeah,
of this
look
already?
at just any
It's
room
not
that
that
isn't
she's
hers.
a hoarder. She's a collector of papers.
Yeah, she
it's a lot
loves
of
it.
papers.
Well,
I'm like, how do you have this many circulating papers and documents and magazines.
She's
and
about
books.
to teach a class. She's about to do a
she's
study.
about to teach
She's about
the
to do something.
religion class.
I mean, most magazines have been canceled. You're like, what is happening?
So back to, I was watching the Antique
think she
Roadshow and I was
probably
like, Susie could be worth $1 million. So I go, and there is some sort
No
of
one wants it.
doll manufacturing stamp on the back of her head. So I do look her up, and they're actual Susie dolls that exist that are in much better condition. I think maybe $200 the tops out at, but it is like, I forgot. I'll have to look it up, but there is an actual manufacturer. It's known as something. And I don't,
I'm like, I really have to look at what a good in shape Susie doll
Was it like
looks
haunted? A haunted manufacturer, like from the Chucky movie?
yeah, I mean,
Some
this
killer
is,
died in the
horrid
factory and was
I
made
just,
into a doll.
and I don't think anybody ever took
the
it on
Poppy
except for
Playtime
maybe
Factory.
Virginia did at one point. None of us girls were ever like, I want Susie, Mom. Thank you for giving her to me. None of
No,
us.
I felt like Catherine.
Like, I don't want it.
Oh,
Get
man.
that away from me.
Because Catherine was the oldest, and so Susie wasn't 100
Then
years
she
old.
should inherit Susie.
She is not. Catherine is not a hoarder. She does not want anything extra like that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But then what's going to happen to poor Susie?
I see
You'll
a
take
fine
her.
dumpster
No.
in her future.
Ethan, how
No,
dare you?
That's terrible.
So you did not enjoy spending the night at Grand Mary's. You've never spent the night at Grand Mary's.
Nope.
But she's, yeah. I mean,
I spent
She's-
it in,
a long time ago.
yeah, like.
Well, what's
But
in-
she
was like
spent the night at our house several times.
Yeah.
Like, that's a much better
I
situation.
just didn't like sleepovers when I was young. I didn't like other people's houses. I didn't like the noises that were made.
yeah, it's different.
Like, yeah, no.
Gosh, Ethan, we shoved you everywhere, every relative.
I know. You really did.
And they're like, oh, okay.
The
here
worst
you go. Stay
sleepover
here.
for me was when someone had the heater on
Luke.
with like it's super hot out.
Oh
Luke
yeah,
is in
I
a
had my space
heater.
heater. I had a space heater in my old room, and
I literally
crank it.
I was at someone's house and I saw them. It's like I'm sweating and they turn on the heater higher, so it goes up to like 80 degrees. Then I'm like, Jesus, how high is this thing gonna go?
Okay, wait. We
Yeah.
just all went on a ski trip together.
Oh God.
And yeah, this over the holidays. This really was one of those. Not a lot
can I
went
get my
right.
money back?
Yeah, not a
Just
lot
gets
went
worse
right.
and worse
But
and worse.
okay, so this house, really cool house.
Beautiful house.
But
though,
on the
yeah.
main level that had the gorgeous view, there was only one main suite, and Rosie and Kirk took that one. And
Lucky.
the rest of the bedrooms were downstairs. So there was like a mini suite downstairs, Mark and I, with an ensuite bathroom. So all fine. Then the boys all in various different ways took the other bedrooms.
It was the first time in
What?
a house that like all of us go on a vacation that all of us got a separate room.
Yeah, which was a very
It
mature
was
thing.
amazing.
Yes.
Less fighting. Good
So
Lord.
nice to not have Luke randomly
many
in the middle of the night go, "Hey there, Ethan. How are you today?" And just
Now he's
beamed
just
at me.
lying.
Yeah, that I am lying there, but
Well,
still.
there would definitely be room drama.
yeah,
Oh my gosh,
there'd
we-
be drama.
I mean, I remember the one
Tahoe.
Tahoe when we had to make Luke and Ethan share a big bunk bed to get like the
No,
same
we
bed
had to
in the
sleep
big
in the
bed.
same bed.
They were so irritated with us. We're like, sorry, or one of you can sleep on the floor. That is what you have to deal with.
That was because there were so many people. Like, I think even
Ethan should have
Heather's
slept on
kids were
Yeah,
out
today I
in
would've
the
slept
main
on the
room.
floor.
Yeah, that was a big old family.
So there was no
vacation.
like
Fun.
put them out in the couch. or
No,
anything.
So this vacation, we're all together, and like I said, Rosie and Kirk are on one level, and the rest of us are all on the second level. And Mark and I went to bed at a decent enough hour, but these boys now all stay up super late, even though it's like you're going to get up and you're going to go skiing early in the morning, blah 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 blah. So at around 3 a.m, I wake up and literally feel as though I'm being boiled alive. I mean, I don't even or baked.
That wasn't me.
It
I
was
don't,
100% you.
Who else could
Okay.
it have been?
Yeah,
'cause
you
you're-
guys keep saying, "Oh, it was Luke." Well, maybe it was Jack
I
or
opened the
Ryan. I don't
window.
know,
No.
because
Jack and Ryan's room was like a garage. It was
yeah, it was
freezing.
an ice box. So my room was not the room to do that with it because I had
shut
carpet.
off my heater and opened the window. It was so hot.
I wake up about 3 a.m. thinking I'm being baked alive, and I'm like, what is going on? So I get up, I open the window in our bedroom, which is, it's like practically 0 degrees outside. And I hear this like whimpering from behind, through the walls. And I open the door, and Ethan's like
God.
stripped down to his underwear, and he's like bright red like a lobster. He's like, what's wrong? I'm so hot. I'm so hot.
sick.
So I open that window. No, he's baking alive too. And I go out there, and because every door is shut and the thermostat is in the center of the rooms, it's like saying 90 degrees, which means our rooms
God.
were probably like 110.
I was probably chilling in my bed.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
Like, oh, this is the shit.
Yeah,
Like,
you were probably,
probably
sauna-ing out.
He doesn't.
I didn't do it though.
All right.
It might have been Jack,
Because
one of you.
my,
I think it was
my room was
Ryan.
very warm, and I cracked my window, and I had space heaters in my room.
Well, that
so-
was the next night. I said, here's 2 space heaters. He literally had 2 space
Well, it wasn't
heaters
me.
blowing at him all night.
They
Yeah.
still turned up the thermostat, one of them. But
not me.
so
I think it may
then,
have been
you know,
Ryan.
and here's
It
the
was
other-
definitely Ryan. Come on, he's
Oh,
not going to
Let's
admit
Ryan.
it.
blame Ryan.
Let's blame the guest.
Yeah,
So all I can
shove the
say is
guest in there.
that you go out to look at the thermostat and you're a certain age and it's 3 a.m. without glasses on. I was like, what is happening? It was such a catastrophe. I had to go in, get the glasses, go back to the thermostat, turn it down. Ethan and I are like fanning ourselves in front of a window trying to cool our bodies down. I mean, it was just
terrible.
Yeah, no. But we have gone on many vacations together as families and had a great time. So it's not so much that, but it's just. And now we have. Do you think you boys. I mean, Jack and Luke are getting to the age. Do you think they'd still go on vacations? Would you go on vacations with us still?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, that's a free vacation.
Yeah, Kirk
why
is now
say
like,
no?
I don't want to take them on vacation.
Oh my god!
I feel so betrayed.
I do too. I'm like, Kirk, let's go to New York and bring the boys. He's like, well, why would we bring the boys? I'm like,
'cause I'm a
why
dick.
wouldn't-" Yeah, I mean, he's totally like,
He's like,
not wanting
oh,
to
why,
include-
why bring our children? Because I'm a dick.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Screw the
come
children.
on.
That's like you went to Chicago without us.
Oh my god!
We didn't go to
Yeah,
Chicago.
you did.
You
Do you
did.
remember that?
We went to New York.
Oh, you already went to New York.
I haven't been to
Okay.
Chicago like ever.
I haven't been to New York like ever.
No.
Next vacation.
Well,
I
Ethan's
know
been to
New
New York
York.
a
I
few
don't want to
times.
go to New York.
You do want to
Oh,
go.
it's
It
so
is
great.
nice. It's really
But you know
nice.
what? We've reached the age with you. You're already there. Like the boys need their own room, their own space, the whole thing. Now
Yeah.
we've reached that point. You know, we used to have the pull-out bed, or if there was 2 queens, or so on and so forth. Yeah. Now we almost need another
hell
bed.
No.
Yeah. Bedroom.
The first time like we did that, I think was when we went to Hawaii and we had adjoining rooms. Because we had tried to do the like, oh, we're all going to be. I think that was in Carmel when we all tried to be in the same hotel room. It was
God, Carmel.
awful. Oh, I was like, oh my God. I was so done with the boys by the end of it because it was like sharing a room where they were in like a queen bed and we were in a queen bed and they were complaining and that was horrible. So
And you guys are just on different times. I mean, that's the one thing about traveling now. It's like you guys like to stay up super late, but then to get you guys up and out early is a real
tough.
challenge.
It'll be like
now.
12 o'clock and we're like, no, we can't move.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, what are we doing here on vacation? Where you just sleep the whole time?
no,
Get
but
up.
they were, like when we went to
Yeah.
That's
Hawaii,
what
they
a
had their
vacation
own
is.
room.
Oh, Hawaii's different. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
vacation.
they had their own room, and we did 2 things where we had to get up early. We did this like going up to see the sunrise at the top of like
Mount
what was
something.
the name of the mountain that's a volcano? Mauna Lea? I don't know.
No, it started with an H or something. It was like
Hades?
no.
Hades.
Isn't that?
This was in Hawaii.
That's like my Greek
Yeah,
god.
that's like
it was
some
on the
ancient
island of
Greek-
Maui. It's a famous
Hades
volcano.
is like the god of the underworld.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
like-
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Totally a volcano.
So we went you go up to the top of the volcano, see the sunrise. It's like watching it come up over Mars. It's very cool.
Oh.
But they
Are you getting up at 3 a.m.? What are you doing?
No, because it was during the summer. So I think that we got up at like 6 or
Oh, you can live
something,
with
pretty
that.
early. But it was like they just were like, okay, and then they like every place they sat, like in the car to the place to take the van to the top of the mountain, they would fall asleep again. So it was like constantly like napping until we got there, like
And waking them up.
And then
Yeah.
we're like, all right, bike down this massive volcano. All right, let's do it at like 30 miles per hour. Let's
Yeah,
go.
that was kind of
Yikers.
yeah.
We were ahead of everyone, me and Jack.
Yeah, you were, and we're like, oh, it's slick, don't go so
One
fast.
rock and it's all over.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't care.
people totally eat it.
Dude, oh my God, I've eaten it so many times riding my skateboard, bike.
You are accident prone.
A bird. Those are the worst.
A bird? Oh.
The electric scooters, the one you can like scan on your phone. Oh my God, me and my friend were riding him one time to like McDonald's or something, and we were in freshman year, I think. And we had the genius idea, we don't want to pay for 2 separate birds, so let's ride on the same one.
Oh my God,
And
I
then-
It is
see
not
people
meant for
do
2
that.
people.
yeah, so
not
he
meant
was
for two.
controlling it, and I was behind him, and I was kind of just like on his shoulders, kind of like looking out, and we were like, all right, we're almost to the McDonald's. And then there's this giant divot in the ground, like
Oh God.
for runoff water in streets and stuff. But there was like an actual massive crack, and we went right over it, and the front wheel just caught, and we flew off, and he busted his lip, and I like scraped the hell out of my arm and stuff, and we were just like, oh, call your dad to pick us up and get McDonald's. And then we actually still went and got the McDonald's.
Well,
and then
yeah.
we were
That
like,
was you can't.
yeah, we
not
were
get
like
McDonald's now.
Yeah, we were
You're
like, all
committed.
right, we got the McDonald's, but there's no way we can ride back. And we're like, yeah, and we're like,
Scott was so pissed because
Yeah, he's
Scott
like-
was
he's like,
always
"What
like, "You have to wear a helmet. Those things."
Oh yeah, he would like make him wear a helmet. I'm like, I'm not looking like a nerd riding around in public on a public scooter with a helmet. Like what?
I
First
think
of all, you were
should
supposed
have.
to be 16, so I'm not even sure how that even all works.
Razor made a company for that, so I blame them.
Well, they used to have their own Razor scooters, and they always wore a helmet back then. But
Those were
I mean, I
busted.
just didn't want to know everything they're doing.
Oh, it's very typical. I mean, most of us grew up with our parents had no idea what we were doing from the day, we'd leave after breakfast, whether it be to school or in summer. And that was that until we got back and hopefully we were alive.
yeah.
I mean, we did crazy crap as kids that was dangerous and no helmets, no safety gear. But you and your mom are pretty accident prone, the two of you.
What you should talk every vacation we go on.
Oh
back your head.
yeah. Wait, hold
Oh my
on.
God.
I'm not. I'm remembering this correctly now.
Every single vacation.
I
you hurt
remember you
yourself.
hit your head. It was like awful. We thought you were gonna like die or something.
That was like we're all leaving. We got through the vacation. It was very like up and down.
Everyone made it.
having a great time playing frisbee in the park, having a miserable time, having a meltdown at
here
the Greek
comes
restaurant.
Liz.
And it was like, and then
Probably
at the
texting
very
on her
end,
BlackBerry at the time. And
No, it was actually Mark's fault. because-
Mark's fault.
It
Okay.
was Mark's.
Put the
my
blame on
husband.
Mark.
Because it's why? Because
Mark didn't make my sandwich.
No. It was, on the back of a car, you can hit a button and the trunk will go down. We were still packing up stuff, and he went one way on the back, hit the button, went around one side of the car, and I was coming around the other side. So I didn't even know he had been lowering the trunk. So sort of my eye level was thinking
looking
the
at
trunk
your
was
BlackBerry.
no BlackBerry. Stop. Okay,
I think you did have a BlackBerry. back
You
then.
you had a
Oh, my
BlackBerry. You
Lord.
had a BlackBerry.
You were definitely
you
looking
know
at
what?
your phone and then it bumped into
and I
you.
will say I loved the Blackberries.
You
so
did.
just
because you
but
had a little keyboard.
I
on
was
it.
100% not on my phone. It just the timing. Mark went one way, the trunk was coming down. I came the other way, and because I anticipated the trunk being up, but it was coming down, which was above my eye line. By the time I cornered the back of the car, it clocked me right on my forehead because it was coming down.
Ow.
And so it was one of those few times in life where you just
dented
see
your-
stars. I mean, you're just like, oh my God. And you also didn't know what just hit you because it sort of came out of nowhere. And so it did split my forehead. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
it was a nice
We were
gash.
I
like,
remember
should
it
you
was
go to the
bad.
hospital? We were all like,
Yeah. And of course, we've like checked out and I'm like dizzy. And
There goes my Aunt Lou.
Yep. So
no,
now
there's many
You know
times
what?
you've hit
Who
your
am I
head.
going to now?
So I guess we're all accident prone, okay?
Oh, like what act can you actually say on vacations we've gone on together? What accident did I have? Yeah. Okay. I can like literally tick
It's
off
always
like
you.
we could tell like 3 stories of you bonking your head. Like
That's true.
Or getting off
or
your
getting like
head.
a massive bruise.
I was
on
just
your
gonna
leg.
say
Oh
the
my
same
God.
thing. I was like,
And then you're like,
I
oh, this
feel
is
like
gonna
I
bruise horribly. Oh my God.
I feel like I
Oh,
should
geez.
always have arnica on me just for you.
That is really true, actually.
kind of
it
a
would
med
always,
kit up your ass
it'd
for
always be
Liz.
like,
Because the problem is we stay in places I'm not used to, so I typically bump into something, and it's
Yeah,
like Rosie's like, "Oh God, that's gonna be so hitting."
yeah, and then
Oh, it's gonna be a
the
horrible
next
bruise.
morning,
You'll
the
never
next
wear
morning,
shorts
you're
again.
like, look at this, and it's like a melon-sized bruise on your thigh. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, I think you had to show everyone that one
yeah,
bruise.
and, where you had to like get it
God.
sharpied by the doctor, and he's like, all right,
Oh,
if it
they
gets
were
past this, there's
traumatized.
internal bleeding.
You showed them that bruise, and they were like traumatized.
Yeah, I was like,
it was like half
remember-
of your. It was like your whole thigh.
Okay, I was in New York. There was probably alcohol involved, and I was leaving.
There was ice involved.
Oh, well, that was the problem. It was one of those. It was winter, so it was blizzard, and I was coming down metal stairs outside of a club, and I just, kind of lost my footing, and I didn't even fall that hard, but on the metal stair there was a bolt, and my thigh hit the bolt, and the next morning I was supposed to fly home.
So like hemorrhaging, basically.
And I go into the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, there's a baseball in my leg.
Oh, I was like, when I say it was like my whole outer thigh was like, it was like black, blue, purple. I was like, it was like every color. And
it was
like,
horrifying.
and I really was like, what am I gonna? So I took a picture and sent it to my doctor. I'm like, do you have a hematoma? Like, is that how you even pronounce it? I was like, am I safe to fly? And he was like, well, take a Sharpie and literally you need to outline the bruise. And the next hour or two, if it expands, I'm like, expands? Like, oh my God, how much bigger could it get? And I remember like about to board the plane, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of in pain. And who I was flying with, it was Kendall or Kylie. I go, oh, show it to me. Kylie. And she still was so traumatized by it.
It was really
like,
ugly.
basically, it was one of those things where it took almost a year. And it was like shadow bruising or whatever. So yes, fine, Luke. I am typically the one that hurts
I know.
myself.
She tried to put it on me, which is so.
No, she
that is
tried to
such
put
a
it on
Liz
me
thing.
at first. She was like, well, Luke is very accident prone, like his mom. I'm like, well, cut the bull.
I can actually attest to the toddler years with Luke were hell.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah. I like busted my face a bunch of times.
Oh my God!
Didn't you
I
crack
think
your head?
He
Yes.
cracked his head open. One of his best.
And so did your mother, and so did your mother.
I got my hand stuck in a ball pitcher.
Oh, that is.
It was so gross. It was like a third-degree burn.
It was like a
just
cheese
took
grater.
All the
It
all
was like
the
a
skin on
cheese
his
grater.
hand.
They just shred the cheese.
Well, you were very
with my hand.
going back to, I would say our mother would like to like kind of label our children. So she called Luke contrary, right?
Yes, contrary.
He's very contrary. Like if you tell Luke, say, don't do that, you would do it.
100%
Yeah, I'm like,
had
I'm
to
like,
do it.
okay. No, I'm
now
gonna
I
do it
have
behind
to
your
do it.
back.
Yeah, and I had don't touch that.
And
I now have
it's like
to touch
it's
it.
like okay, and then I'm gonna do it behind your back, and if it goes wrong,
Then he's like,
I'm gonna
"Oh,
get
you said don't touch it because it's blazing hot. Now I burnt all my hands."
Oh, a fireplace? All right. Glass screen? Let me touch it. Cook an egg on it.
I remember Rosie was so insulted. I think I was there, and Mom's like, Luke really, he has a very contrary personality. And Rosie was like, how dare you? And then years later, Rosie's like, she was totally right.
Well, she would always say things about the boys. She also said Luke had a really big heart and, really felt for others.
Yes.
And then she thought Jack was very empathetic because if another kid cried, he would cry.
Oh, nice.
And but Jack is
Jack's
also
just
like, Jack is also like, if he was fine, like if he wasn't like, if somebody was like hurt or something, he'd be like, oh, okay, whatever, and like want to move on. So he's had his bad qualities too.
Well, we kind of have a theory about our mom. It's interesting. She had 4 boys and 4 girls, right? And she has, I don't know, there's 12 grandchildren now, I think.
That is a
Oh,
lot.
I don't know. I guess.
And there's boys and girls, obviously, whole spread. And, that's one of the things we've kind of said, like, I think she really collects with the girls.
She digs the girls for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I'd be like, Ethan, you're a jerk. And then Ethan would cry, and she'd be like, you're just bullying Ethan nonstop. I'm like, you know what?
She told you he's right though.
No, like-
she was on him like
Yeah, for no reason.
being unkind, you're being terrible.
Graham Mary, with the boys, is a different dynamic. But I always say it's on us too, because unlike, Virginia, who's pretty awesome, and we'll say like, Mom, come over and have dinner, and Mom, go do this with me and the girls. Like, I don't do that.
But I did do that. But Mom was working.
Oh, right.
And she'd be
right,
like,
right, right,
well,
right.
I'll be over at 8:30. I'm like, the kids will be in bed and we have eaten 2 hours before that. I'm like, she would show up late. She'd always have other things she wanted to do. It was just like she was still working. She was,
Yeah, she
not
worked
really-
until she was mid 70s, right?
Well, and then she always has her late afternoon prayer circle.
She
She
does.
still has her prayer, like, group today. She's still teaching to this day, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
she
we're
is.
lucky that she's active and that she is around because a lot of people don't even have any grandparents. And you have a Grand Jan as well, who's
Yeah,
pretty
he's
involved in all
lucky.
of our lives, too. Like, we went out with her last night.
Yep.
Dude, he is the golden child.
Oh,
The
yeah, 'cause
only grandchild with Jan. I mean, that, Grandma has 12 to choose from. It's like,
Yeah.
But she has one grandchild, Grand Jan.
Hi.
Well, that's the other thing I
Ethan
said. You had
is
been
the only
a
grandchild.
long run of boys by the time you were born because it was JP, William, Adam, Jack, Luke. There'd been a long run of grandsons by the time you were born, and there'd
I
already
think it was like William, Jack, Adam, Luke, JP, Ethan.
6 boys in a row. So we had a lot of boys. So then when Morgan and Lauren came along, it was pretty exciting because it were girls again. Yeah. So I don't know, but teenage boys, lots of fun.
Yeah.
Well, so I really want to thank you guys for joining us, you boys. We'll have you back again because there's a lot to discuss. I didn't want to overly embarrass you this first time and bring up
We'll
anything.
get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that because I want your opinion on a lot of different things and your youth take.
Oh, yeah, we need to
I
talk
just-
about all the youth
I just
stuff.
remembered the KOA vacations we used to have every summer.
How did you just remember that?
I forgot that we
Well,
had
we will bring those up another time because yes, summer vacations altogether have been very interesting. So but we're lucky we get to do them together, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right. So that was an episode of Family Dynamics, and we very pleasantly had Luke Fogg and Ethan Roman and
Hi.
Rosemary Fogg. So please remember to subscribe and like, comment, and review. Only if it's good, please. Just kidding. And also, you can get us on Patreon. Actually, we'll do a Patreon. Maybe I will ask you embarrassing questions on our Patreon. So that's at Family Dynamics with a K. So thank you for listening.